There are many differing opinions on the topic.
Some people feel that greed is good, that it can motivate people to achieve great things and amass great wealth.
Some say that it's bad, that it not only benefits a few and leaves others behind in money, power, and other areas. In today's discussion, there are no right or wrong answers. You have come prepared to discuss the topic and share your feelings, which you will support the evidence you have discovered. So let's get started. Greed, is it good or bad?
I think greed is bad because it can affect people and affect others because they can become selfish, and then the others around them don't get what they want, and they others they can become selfish and they think about themselves and they forget about others around them.
All the things that they want.
But going back to what Daisy said, I was doing some research on the same site she was, debate.org, and it says greed is basically the cousin of jealousy, and
it does help people motivate them, but in other times it can cause people to change so drastically, and instead of motivating them, they use that as an excuse, and saying, oh, it's motivating me. That's an interesting point, but I have an example of how greed can be bad. So Trump wanted to build a casino, so he hired some people to help build this casino. Afterwards, he gave whatever he gave it up, and so he left a lot of people with their jobs and small business, their families, but don't how they build and services. So how can people help in with their family and everything, even though they don't get paid for what they deserve?
I agree with Melissa because most companies are greedy and money arguments, and without greed, then those companies would not be where they are today, and many of them wouldn't run as good as they are with greed.
I disagree with Max because people can benefit from greed, and if people have money, they can help other people around them and themselves, because people can start fundraisers or companies that help the poor, Feed My Starving Children and Phil's Friends.
I agree, but do you believe sharing is always good? Because there can be some bad things that come out of sharing. Because someone might rely on you too much.
I think that is a very good point, but if there wasn't any greed in the world, how do you think life would be?
I think you can use control a lot of people at one point. It could affect Okay, so is greed good or bad?
Well, I believe greed is bad because it changed political power over the course of the years, and it created a large corruption, and it made it effective, which was stated by Schmidt.
I think greed is good because it like gives you like a wanted attitude and it keeps you going and it gives you great determination not to quit. And also, if a job was giving you a raise, would you turn it down? No, because everybody has like greeds in their decisions. Like if a job was giving you a raise that you're working at, you would obviously not turn it down because you would want that money.
That
Last
would be
reason-
like the Rockefeller Center in New York City.
I agree with you, Daniel. Because like they're saying that rich greed could be good because the people who are rich like Trump can give money to help.
Some
others.
people think that if people think that greed is good, then they are bad. Because greed can be bad in a lot of ways because you can go too far with greed and you can start robbing or be a criminal or thief.
Well,
I agree with Ishan, but for an example, in ELA we watched a video about how people were selling their wealth, and they don't care about who has their hands on them, and they care about the money.
Do you think that greed depends on a person and their background?
Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily because
That there's other ways to get motivation than just wanting everything, because the way greed is because people want to seem like they're better or they want to use it to their benefit. They didn't really listen that well. They kind of all thought that they were the best, and they thought that maybe of their ideas, and they wanted to just be powerful and have so much power over everyone, so then they can get money. And there wasn't a lot of good people that were rich and
Like the top of the crop and all this stuff. But sometimes greed can hold them back, and that's another reason why greed can be bad.
I agree with both of you, and those are really good points. But I'm agreeing with both of you because people are greedy. Some people are greedy, like everyday people, because they want what's best for their family. Like they will do whatever they want and whatever it takes for their family to survive and for them to survive.
Good point. I'm gonna talk about homeless people.
Greed is bad because it is typically considered a large source of evil, which causes people to steal, collect, and show acts of disloyalty and dishonesty. And it gives someone the desire to take something that is not theirs.
I agree with Katie, but I do agree with Katie, and I have a quote from Albert Einstein, and he has put down 3 great forces rule the world: stupidity, fear, and greed. And Melissa, what do you think your opinion is about that quote?
I like to add that just because someone is greedy, you can't assume that they are not out for the good for those around them.
Agreed with other words that are very similar to that, like motivation, desire, inspiration, stuff like that, because greed, it is very similar to that because all these words have one thing in common, which is the willingness to do something, but something different from greed, from the other words where greed includes selfishness, which is not lacking consideration for others. I disagree with that because people can mix greed with other words that are very similar to that, like motivation, desire, inspiration, stuff like that, because greed, it is very similar to that because all these words have one thing in common, which is the willingness to do something, but something different from greed, from the other words where greed includes selfishness, which is not lacking consideration for others.
Little suffering and not much farming space, not much farming space is that because of the factories and all these businesses.
www.debate.org. Greed is considered evil in most countries. How do you guys feel about that?
I believe, and that's a good point, but greed isn't always bad because, for example, Raina's video that we saw in class, it talked about how she made fashion for a specific type of woman, and how 10% of the money would go to people in need.
I agree with Daisy because I think it motivates a lot of people to do better things. You're not always
giving handouts for people. They're like, they see someone else doing something really good, they want to be that person. So I think it drives a lot of momentum for them.
I understand what you're saying, Frank, but looking at this from like, I came from like a very like religious, I guess, family, and in the Bible it talks a lot about like greed being like a bad thing. It was one of the 7 deadly sins.
Well, I think greed is pretty much everything. I mean, there's probably someone that was really greedy to make this school. So, and the government in general is pretty much kind of greedy too, because they're always trying to get taxpayers to pay to them and all that.
Can you talk more about how the government is greedy and like use it in like the way the whole like United States?
All right, well, Donald Trump wants to lower down taxes, which makes the government not as greedy, and as you can see, Hillary Clinton wants to raise up taxes, and she wants more money to the government, but Trump doesn't want that.
Okay, so going off what he said, greed hasn't just come up in politics and in life, I guess. It's been going on since a while before. For example, in The Jungle, written by Sinclair, it talks about a workplace which was about as harsh as it gets. You got paid a couple cents a day, the company wasn't responsible for any injuries you acquired, and then you were as easily replaced as a light bulb, so that furthermore made them treat you like garbage. And then all of that was a result of greed from those businesses.
I agree.
I agree with Liz, but I also disagree because if you're not greedy with your company's money, then the company is never going to grow and get bigger.
I agree with Anthony because greed helps us motivate us to become successful. So.
It also,
I don't think greed is the only thing that can motivate us. We don't need the greed, we need the determination without the greed, because greed just consumes you.
Going off of Liz for the Reina video, she kind of used greed in a good way, in a positive way, to, she was kind of empowering women and showing her determination, and it showed how her greed reached her to her success. What do you guys think about that? How it can be used in different ways?
I feel like greed does have horrible things, but it can lead to better things. For example, after Sinclair wrote that book, it led to the public pressure led to the passage of the Meat Inspection Act and the Pure Food and Drug Act, which raised standards for all food.
At work, I'm older, and there's me and my opponent. We're going at the same job against each other, and to see who wins. And so, say I keep working hard every night, and my wife, like when I'm older or something, she's like, "Come on, honey, it's time to eat." Like, hold on, I have to work. And my son or something, like, "Dad, you want to play?" I'm like, "Yeah, hold on, let me do my work." And then he comes in later and he gets disappointed. And so then you'd be like, you have to apologize, and they get more mad at you. So then you're basically losing the stuff that you love and all that.
I actually really agree with Diageo because he's kind of saying like, you could, if you're so greedy and you want money.
So, is greed good or bad?
Well, I believe greed is bad because it achieved political power over the course of the years, and it created a large corruption, and it made it effective, which was stated by
I agree with that, but are you sure that most of that isn't just self-determination and just wanting to get better at something versus just because greed, the definition of greed, the dictionary definition is the want of power or money when it starts hurting other people or doing bad things to your life, whereas getting a raise could be good for your life. So is that only greed, or is it mixed in with also some
soldiers sacrificed their lives and they had left their families and friends.
I agree. Because the sacrifice was from the soldiers and their families, because the families lost their loved ones and their husbands.
I believe that Abe wanted to make it like straight to the point, and he wanted to make it short so he had everybody's devoted attention in the beginning instead of making it like 3 hours long, so everybody would be losing attention.
He had everybody like focused on him, and he hit every point of what he wanted to talk about.
I agree with you because I felt like the people, it got them more excited.
Yeah, so why don't we say, from sake of, what does Lincoln mean when he talks about
Overall, what are your final thoughts?
In my opinion, I think life is short and fighting is not a good way to live, especially when you fight each other.
Overall, I think the main goal for Lincoln was to keep it short and simple and get right to the point and make it about something people actually care about.
In line 1 through 4, so that we think everyone is equal and that we need to.
Okay, so we're kind of at like the end of our discussion. So, has any of your guys' ideas changed in the viewing of the Gettysburg?
my ideas changed because I would have thought that out of democracy, sacrifice, citizenship, and social contract, it'd be mainly just one of those. But it's actually like all of them collab together, so it's like fractions almost. Everything is 1/4, and it's just put together to make a whole.
I agree with you, Danielle, but I also think that, like, my opinion on this, like, I thought he made this Gettysburg Address just so, like, he could get to, like, where we are now and we still talk about it. But I think he really wanted to just do it for, like, the people and some future generations, but not all of them now.